Excuse me. Would you mind terribly putting me back where you found me? While we're waiting, let me introduce myself. Yorick is the name. I live here at the castle with 3 of the most terrifying monsters of all time. Frank, a wretched creation of parts unearthed from the dankest depths of the graveyard. Drac, a dashing, bloodthirsty tyrant from Romania, a creature of the night. And Wolf, once an ordinary man, now cursed by the full moon and transformed into a hideous, tormented beast. Terror filled the countryside, and my master's fearsome reputation spread. They became an inspiration to monsters everywhere, and life at the top was just one big party.
Well, I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abode to get their joke from my electrode. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash.
Terror filled the countryside, and my master's fearsome reputation spread. They became an inspiration to monsters everywhere, and life at the top was just one big party.
The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sound. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Clip Kicker 5. They played the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They play the Monster Mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said,
Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
It's now the Monster Mash.
Without the ability to scare, my masters had no choice but to become entertainers. After all, one has to keep the castle fires burning. But it was a far cry from their former glory.
So when is our next gig?
5 p.m. at Cower Records at the mall.
That's certainly something to live for.
That's where our story starts. It is the strangest horror story you've ever heard. You will be frightened to the bone.
And now it's time for Foolish Monster Tricks.
embarrassment. An insult to monsters everywhere.
Chicky wanna change channel?
We'll have them thrown out of the Ghoul Guild. Notify the tribunal. We'll show them how to mash monsters.
You are hereby summoned to the Superior Court of Horror for a violation of Section 435, subparagraph B.
Failure to stare. But I love to stare.
No, that's failure to scare, Plasma Breath.
Ooh.
There. At least one of us is frightening.
No, one of you has a truly frightening stench coming from his armpits. Now then, you have the right to remain...
Remains? Yum, yum.
That's the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you. In fact, we will hold all sorts of gross things against you.
My master's court date was scheduled for just before Halloween.
All rise. His ogre is about to enter.
Let us begin the trial of these three pathetic losers. We have selected a very qualified jury.
They don't seem very lively.
Maybe not, but with them we won't have to break for lunch. Order! You are charged with the most serious offense.
But you're ogre. We were once the scariest monsters around.
I was even the first Ghoul Guild president.
Yes, that was a different era. There is now a more effective generation of fiends. The prosecution may enter.
Going down. Oh, man. That 2,000-year-old used bandage is our lawyer.
He got millions for Mr. Hyde when he sued Dr. Jekyll for malpractice.
Objection, your ogre!
Overruled!
The prosecution calls Dr. Decay.
Whatever it is, it'll have to come out.
Dr. Decay, is it true that the so-called king of the vampires